Vegan side effect: you will live long.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
番組は多言語放送です。放送予定は suprememastertv.com/schedule。
The Father has such greatness and magnitude that if he had revealed himself suddenly, quickly, to all the exalted ones among the eons who had come forth from him, they would have perished. Please continue watching for the ancient Gnostic teachings of the Nag Hammadi's Holy Scripture.
Dank u wel. This is how the citizens of elegant Belgium would express their gratitude. It translates to thank you in Dutch, one of the official languages of this European gem. Precious viewers, my name is Lucas. The free-thinking Belgian people send you their love and wish you happiness and prosperity in God's eternal embrace. Welcome to Aeonic Emanations from the Gnostic Nag Hammadi Library, Part 2 of 2 on Words of Wisdom. The Nag Hammadi Library is a collection of early Christian and Gnostic manuscripts, also called codices, discovered in 1945 near the Upper Egyptian town of Nag Hammadi. The general dating of the books varies from the 2nd to the 4th century. The collection includes 13 ancient books containing over 50 spiritual texts. The discovery and translation of these scriptures helped scholars to re-evaluate early Christian history and the nature of Gnosticism, a Christian movement originating in the 1st and 2nd centuries that emphasized gnosis. Gnosis means the direct knowing or acquaintance of the divine through esoteric experience. Today, the precious Nag Hammadi manuscript collection is housed in the Coptic Museum in Cairo, Egypt. Let us now continue with an excerpt from the chapter Aeonic Emanations of the tripartite tractate in the Nag Hammadi Library. We will learn how the single one and the totalities correspond with each other, depicted in a profound, abstract manner, evoking our deeper spiritual perceptions. Aeonic Emanations. The Father brought forth everything, like a little child, like a drop from a spring, like a blossom from a vine, like a flower in need of gaining nourishment and growth and faultlessness. He withheld it for a time. He who had thought of it from the very beginning possessed it from the very beginning and saw it, but he closed it off to those who first came from him. He did this not out of envy, but in order that the eons might not receive their faultlessness from the very beginning, and might not exalt themselves to the glory to the Father, and might think that from themselves alone they have this. But just as he wished to grant that they might come into being, so too, in order that they might come into being as faultless ones, when he wished, he gave them the perfect idea of beneficence toward them. The one whom he raised up as a light for those who came from himself, the one from whom they take their name, he is the Son who is full, complete, and faultless. He brought him forth, mingled with what came forth from him, partaking of the totality. He exists by himself. As for the parts in which he exists in his own manner and form and greatness, it is possible to see him and speak about that which they know of him, since they wear him while he wears them, because it is possible for them to comprehend him. He, however, is as he is, incomparable, in order that the Father might receive honor from each one and reveal himself, even in his ineffability, hidden and invisible, they marvel at him mentally. Therefore, the greatness of his loftiness consists in the fact that they speak about him and see him. He becomes manifest so that he may be hymned because of the abundance of his sweetness. And just as the admirations of the silences are eternal generations, and they are mental offspring, so too the dispositions of the Word are spiritual emanations. Both of them, admirations and dispositions, since they belong to a Word, are seeds and thoughts of His offspring, and roots which live forever, appearing to be offspring which have come forth from themselves, being minds and spiritual offspring to the glory of the Father. There is no need for voice and spirit, mind and word, because there is no need to work at that which they desire to do, but on the pattern by which he was existing. So are those who have come forth from him, begetting everything which they desire. And the one whom they conceive of, and whom they speak about, and the one toward whom they move, and the one in whom they are, and the one whom they hymn, thereby glorifying him, he has sons. For this is their procreative power, like those from whom they have come, according to their mutual assistance, since they assist one another like the unbegotten ones. The Father, in accordance with his exalted position over the totalities, being an unknown and incomprehensible one, has such greatness and magnitude that if he had revealed himself suddenly, quickly, to all the exalted ones among the eons who had come forth from him, they would have perished. Therefore he withheld his power and his inexhaustibility within that in which he is. He is ineffable and unnameable, and exalted above every mind and every word. This one, however, stretched himself out, and it was that which he stretched out which gave a foundation and a space and a dwelling place for the universe, a name of his being the one through whom, since he is Father of the all, out of his laboring for those who exist, having sown into their thought that they might seek after him. The abundance consists in the fact that they understand that he exists, and in the fact that they ask what it is that was existing. This one was given to them for enjoyment and nourishment and joy and an abundance of illumination, which consists in his fellow laboring, his knowledge and his mingling with them. That is the one who is called and is in fact the Son, since he is the totalities and the one of whom they know both who he is and that it is he who clothes. This is the one who is called Son, and the one of whom they understand that he exists and they were seeking after him. This is the one who exists as Father and as the one about whom they cannot speak and the one of whom they do not conceive. This is the one who first came into being. It is impossible for anyone to conceive of him or think of him. Or can anyone approach there toward the Exalted One, toward the pre-existent in the proper sense? But all the names conceived or spoken about him are presented in honor as a trace of him, according to the ability of each one of those who glorify him. Now he who arose from him when he stretched himself out for begetting and for knowledge on the part of the totalities, he is, in the proper sense, the sole first one, the man of the Father, that is, the one whom I call the form of the formless, the body of the bodiless, the face of the invisible, the word of the unutterable, the mind of the inconceivable, the fountain which flowed from him, the root of those who are planted, and the God of those who exist, the light of those whom he illumines, the love of those whom he loved, the providence of those for whom he providentially cares, the wisdom of those whom he made wise, the power of those to whom he gives power, the assembly of those whom he assembles to him, the revelation of the things which are sought after, the eye of those who see, the breath of those who breathe, the life of those who live, the unity of those who are mixed with the totalities. All of them exist in the single one, as he clothes himself completely, and by his single name he is never called. And in this unique way, they are equally the single one and the totalities. He is neither divided as a body, nor is he separated into the names which he has received, so that he is one thing in this way and another in another way. Also, neither does he change, nor does he turn into the names which he thinks of, and become now this, now something else, this thing now being one thing, and at another time something else, but rather he is wholly himself to the uttermost. He is each and every one of the totalities forever at the same time. He is what all of them are. He brought the Father to the totalities. He also is the totalities, for he is the one who is knowledge for himself, and he is each one of the properties. He has the powers, and he is beyond all that which he knows, while seeing himself in himself completely and having a son and form. Therefore, his powers and properties are innumerable and inaudible because of the begetting by which he begets them. Innumerable and indivisible are the begettings of his words and his commands and his totalities. He knows them, which things he himself is, since they are in the single name and are all speaking in it. And he brings them forth in order that it might be discovered that they exist according to their individual properties in a unified way. And he did not reveal the multitude to the totalities at once, nor did he reveal his equality to those who had come forth from him. Divine viewers, we thank you for your kind presence for today's words of wisdom. May total freedom of the mind and endless sweetness in the heart be yours in God's greatness.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.
Vegan leader, legendary leader.